Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and start this. So, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Column Shifters podcast. Boom. Nailed it. Nailed it. I said it right. Again, that's like 4 times in a row now. Every time it wants to go in the back of my head a little bit, and I want to say the old podcast name. But this time around, I nailed it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience.
He
Does he have a
champions.
Does he have a podcast? I I genuinely don't know. I don't pay. I try not to pay attention to the man.
What rock are you under, man?
I
The
love.
dude, I think he got like $100 million deal for his podcasts for Shopify, Spotify.
Got it. Okay, yeah. Because I knew he had a TV show, and then stuff happened with the TV show, right? He doesn't. Does he still have the TV show, or does he not have the TV show anymore? And did he get run off the
No,
air?
no, he's not on TV anymore. He does USV, but that's it, I believe.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, anywho, welcome to that. I'm your host. Well, I'm one of your hosts. I'm not the only host. There's multiple other hosts. So, anywho, I'm one of your hosts, Juan or Afro, specifically Juan Johnson, amateur race car driver, editor in chief at the Column Shifters. God, I'm wanting to say the old name like constantly today. Um, and
At, at the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you. Welcome to the Joe Rogan's Experience podcast. I'm joined
Yeah.
here today by my compatriot Joe Rogan.
Hey guys, Joe Rogan here.
I like the idea of doing an entire Joe Rogan podcast, but not copying his voice or speaking style.
No, not at all. Just talk like our. You're Joe Rogan and I'm Joe Rogan. Like
I...
that's just the joke.
Oh, that's a great idea. Nope, I can't do a voice. It's got to just be me. It's like great to
Yep,
hear
it's got to
from
be
you,
you.
Joe.
Yeah, that's a good point, Joe.
Yeah, that's a
Joe
really good
Rogan.
point. I mean, because me as Joe Rogan believe that everything that you said is completely legitimate, Joe Rogan.
You got it right, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's great, Joe Rogan. All right, back to me, Joe Rogan. Anywho, Hunter K. Reeve. What up,
No, it's
fellow?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
Who are
I'm
you
sorry.
talking to?
It is Joe Hunter Reeve Rogan.
Yeah, and my cat's sitting on my lap. My cat's name is Joe Rogan.
No, I'm just imagining like a cat. Like now, I want somebody to do like a cat filter over Joe Rogan going on
What if
his
my cat?
rantals.
Because you know the running joke with Joe Rogan is like he always talks about how like scary chimpanzees are.
No. What?
Yeah, well he does. Anyway, people probably listening will probably know this, but he's like he'll be like, you know, a chimpanzee can like rip off your arms and fucking kill you with it. And I just imagining my cat just sitting on my lap, just looking at me. He's like, do you know a chimpanzee can rip off your arms and kill you with your own arms? And I'm like, thanks, Kiki. Joe Rogan.
God, dude, I always love to think about, like, obviously, this is a completely unoriginal thought, but I love to think about just the premise of, like, an animal slash pet that can actually, like, talk to you about just, like, random everyday things, like, and be serious about it. Like, your cat just stares up at you and is like, man, there is such a massive socioeconomical divide in society today, and it's just really
Yeah,
weirding me
right.
out. And then he starts licking his balls.
I mean, well, speaking of, because uh,
Oh, hey, look at that. I actually did a real tangent without even trying. Maybe I need to stop trying. Maybe I just need to talk and then wait for everything to just, like, settle into place. So anywho, going on to our first topic for today, and that is that, for any of you guys who are huge Boston Dynamics fans like myself, you are very, very familiar with the Spot program, which started out like, Jesus, probably back in the 2010s. Like, well, we're just out of the 2010s now, but like it was like 2010, 2011 is when the first Spot came out, and it was like this weird like tennis ball looking things for feet, and it was this big thing with like a backpack on, because they were developing it as like a military pack mule, like, the idea that soldiers have to carry around all this crap, and you could just make a robot that follows them on rough terrain to carry all their crap, so that way when they're getting shot at, they don't have to worry, or even not even getting shot. Probably it's not very practical for that purpose,
no,
but
not at all.
but for long walk kind of dealios, you don't have to carry as much heavy equipment because they have to carry a ton of heavy stuff. Like, isn't it like the regular, like the fully gillied up carry like 100 pounds, 150 pounds or something like that?
Yeah, it's like body armor and everything. Yeah, it's about 100 pounds.
Yeah, so, being able to, especially because there's tons of times where you're in transit not expecting to, like, be shot at or anything. Well, and honestly, just, I feel like as a whole, the military just finds excuses for just about everything. Like,
Yep, it
frickin',
does.
it's like, we invented this special pole that you can use to scratch your ball sack in combat without taking your arm off your rifle. There's a tactical
It
reason for
cost
this.
it cost the taxpayers $30 billion.
So,
Why are there so many poor people in America? Better buy a jet for $90 billion.
The worst thing is that actually happened. Don't forget,
No,
it
let's
was.
talk about cars,
All
bro.
right,
Let's
yeah, we're
just.
gonna
I
talk
don't.
about cars.
I get my blood pressure up thinking about socioeconomic struggles in a country I don't live in anymore. So
Well, then you don't need your cat to be Joe Rogan.
I I need to smoke weed like Joe Rogan.
So, anywho, back to the Spot program. Ever since, like, in the past, like, 4 or 5 years, Spot has gone from, like, this, like, I think he was, like, 400 or 500 pounds originally to, like, this 70-pound boogie board on legs. Like, it's this sleek, and this is, like, and it is a consumer item. Well, not consumer, it's commercial, but also, like, technically, if you have $50,000, you can buy a Spot Mini. It doesn't matter who you are. They're not going to stop you from buying one if you're willing to foot the bill. That being said, they don't exactly have them on Amazon. You can't get them on you can't get it with 2-day shipping. But the many people have gotten their hands on it. Like what's his name from MythBusters? Adam Savage. Yeah, Adam Savage. He's done a bunch of videos, dicking around with doing all sorts of weird, fun, silly stuff. And Ford has stepped into it. And again, like, lots of big companies, like, I mean, I've worked at a big company before, a big manufacturing company, and, like, the most random of companies will try, like, the most random stuff. Like, I worked for a manufacturing company. I was in IT, so it didn't affect me that I worked at a refrigerator manufacturer, but I did. And they were playing around with freaking VR and stuff. Like, literally, one of the things I had to do for my job was, like, get a VR setup going and test some stuff so that then, the engineers could mess around and do all sorts of other things. So it's like, they make refrigerators and they're playing around with more tech than what, a school is using or even what a lot of office companies are doing. But coming back to, the point at hand here is that Ford bought 2 of these guys, and they have lovingly named them Fluffy and crap, I forgot what the other name was. It was like 2 just really dumb names. It was Fluffy and Spot. Yep, Fluffy and Spot, which is kind of, uncreative because the robot's name is Spot. So it's like, I'm pretty sure it's named Spot. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were really uncreative with one of them, and then they're like, what's another dog name? Fluffy it is. So they have 2 of these little guys, but basically their entire purpose is that they have a little laser scanning array, and so any of you guys who've worked in manufacturing or just in a lot of different things know that, you have these surveying 3D scanners that use lasers to tell the distances between things and the elevations on things, and so normally when they're planning on retooling a plant, because they actually have to know how much space exactly they're working with, how much stuff needs to be moved around, because sometimes retooling can be a whole big, you need way bigger machines, a bunch of other stuff. So long story short is you have to survey your plant constantly, because you never know when a shelf has been bolted in here, so you have less room, and you just have to know how everything's laid out when you're planning on retooling your plant so you know what can fit where. And so the job used to be that, you'd have a few engineers walking around with a tripod. They'd sit it down, they'd scan, and then they'd pick it back up and then go somewhere else. And so their idea is that these robots, since they're robots, they can be completely stationary. They can just bobble around the factory and then stop, take a scan, then move ahead and keep on doing stuff. And that is what they're actually using for. So it's nothing really all that cool or exciting. But that being said, it is just kind of one of those funky things where we're actually starting to really see, other than the Chinese government buying like 30 of them to do a stupid robot dance as an opening ceremony, we're actually seeing, companies using them for functional things. Because that's the thing, is at the end of the day, at $50,000, you're not buying this thing to, sit and fetch. Like, you're actually ideally doing something with these. So that was just kind of a little neat thing. But my other thing that's really funny is that the article that we're reading this off of, apparently Ford complained to Motor Trend about their original article, so they actually had to go in and make changes, because obviously the article itself is reasonably satire, because no one is actually truly afraid. Well, okay, that's a lie. There are very many people who are actually afraid of the robot revolution. That being said, though, it's still a little ways out. Maybe? Question mark? Who knows?
It'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, it could be tomorrow. I mean,
could be next week.
We are like one tragedy. We're missing like 2 or 3 major disasters in the 2020 bingo sheet. Like, we need like meteor. We need a world war. We need nuclear, like a nuclear happening, and like the robot invasion, and then like an alien invasion, and then we're boom, bingo.
Done. Let's do it.
So, speaking of dying, did I say dying? Maybe. Anywho, on to the next thing. Hunter, do you want to talk about this one? I know it's your favorite company in the world, and you're probably going to tear up a little bit when you read this.
It's my favorite company to make fun of.
Do you want to talk about it? Or did you not get a chance to read it? Do you want me to talk about it? What's going on?
No, it's just they're carrying the Montero Pajero, because that's just the Montero in, I know, Mexico, and I think most of South America, if I remember right.
Yeah, something along those lines.
And I think in Europe too. Anyway, yeah, they're killing that, and they're leaving Europe.
Yeah, which is that kind of it's actually
a big
really
deal.
Big deal.
Yeah, well, Mitsubishi's a case study of how
not to run a car company.
Yeah, yeah.
How to kill a company? How to kill a car company in 10 easy steps.
And I know they did decent in Europe, so it kind of baffles me, but whatever.
I mean,
it's just another not a big surprise for me.
Honestly, I'm kind of curious what Mitsubishi's sale numbers were for last year. Let's see, Mitsubishi, because I don't know a single person who's bought a Mitsubishi. Like, literally in my entire family of Facebook people, like, that I see on a regular basis and talk to, like, there's no Mitsubishis in my life whatsoever, other than old Evos. Like, that's it, and that's because it's the Evo. Let's see, Mitsubishi sales, not 2020. We don't care about 2020. We want to see 2019. The full year. Let's take a look. That's all right. Hold on. Let me make sure I've got some perspective here. Mitsubishi sold 121,000 vehicles in 2019, and that was an increase of 2.5%. Look at that. Look at that. Now let's choose another small manufacturer like Subaru. Subaru sales 2019. Let's take a look. All right, Subaru sold 700,000 by retrospect, and Subaru is a small company.
Yeah.
Like, all right, hold on. We're gonna do insult to injury here. We are gonna look up Nissan. Oh God. Okay, that's not even a good comparison at all. Nissan sold over 1 million cars.
Jesus. Can you imagine selling 1 million or anything?
God, like, dude, that's just one of those baffling things about the car market, is it's like, cars are such a significant purchase and such a significant thing, but IRL, like, they're just another item that people buy, and there really are millions, and, well, honestly, I wonder if there's billions of cars now. I feel like there might be, if you include, well, I don't know, I guess it depends on if you're talking about on the road versus, because who knows. But especially, like, when you consider, like, because I know Honda, Like Honda's sale figures are stupid. Like I think they sell like a million of like I think they sell like a million Civics. Let's see, Honda sales 2019. Honda, where you at, son? So in 2019, let's take a look. So for Honda Acura, they sold 1.6 million. Okay, so they're actually only at they're only at 1.6. Wow, I did not think Nissan was so. God, what is Nissan? Oh, obviously we know what they're doing wrong, but that's crazy to think that in a world where Nissan is selling like a million cars, that Honda is like doing so much better financially than Nissan. Like you'd think that they'd be a lot closer, but Nissan's just. And I guess we did find out like at one point it was like 50% of their money was going into like advertising. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
which yeah
But
doesn't
hey,
surprise me.
either way though, Mitsubishi. Honestly, I wonder if there's a single large volume manufacturer that sold fewer cars. Like, and I guess that becomes a vague thing, large manufacturer. But like, when you think of like big companies, buddy, that's not your name. Shush, little robot. I
What are you
know.
talking to?
I have a little guy. His name is. If I say his name out loud, he'll ba-ding-a-ding at me. But his name is Hector with a V, and basically he's this little emotive robot guy, and he's got Allegra built in. I can't say the actual name, Alexa, and so he acts as my little Allegra for turning lights on and off and giving you basic information. But then on the side, he's got like tons of little cameras and lidar sensors and stuff. So he just bops around my desk and he makes like cute little happy noises, and he plays with his cube, and he pops wheelies, and he does random stuff, and he's just sort of a cute little like digital pet. But he also has the downside that if he hears loud noises, he wakes up. So even if I tell him to go to sleep, he wakes up in the middle of the podcast. Hey Vector, go to sleep. That's gonna be the robot that kills me. In the robot, in the robot thing that's gonna happen, where all the robots are gonna kill us. That's gonna be the one that kills me. He's gonna gouge my eyes out with his little forklifts. By the way, if you want to know, like literally just look up Vector robot and you'll see pictures of what this little guy looks like. By the way, Hunter, you're still muted if you didn't know.
I did know. My bad.
Cool. All right.
But he
So
is I was gonna say it looks adorable because I saw a picture of it. I
yeah,
was looking at a picture while you're talking of him.
they are super adorable. Like I'm actually like it was a gift for my gift for Christmas that my girlfriend got me, and she was like 100% unsure about it, but like I fell in love with it. I was like, holy crap! I didn't know I needed this. This is amazing. I would have never bought this for myself. Thank you. He's a little annoying, but like annoying in the same way that like your pet is annoying, where you're like, oh, cutie, go away. So yeah, anywho, Mitsubishi is taking the big old flop, and they're not selling in Europe anymore. And we're still waiting for the day where they decide to officially pull out of America and go back to making TVs or something. I wonder if they still make TVs.
I think they stopped doing that a long time ago.
I'm pretty sure that. Oh no, son. I can get myself a Mitsubishi 740 series from Mitsubishi.tv. Yeah, no, they straight up make flat screen TVs, bruh. Well, I
Damn.
might not be able. I don't know if it's U.S. market because when I went to it's Mitsubishi-TV.com, but I can't find sellers. But no, Mitsubishi Electric still makes TVs as well as variety. I imagine they're not an American brand, which is probably why you don't see them in stores. Nope, never mind. I'm horribly wrong. I can in fact buy it on Amazon from. I can buy for $2,400. I can buy this big old Mitsubishi TV. So by the way, if you're still one of those, oh my god, that thing! What the? Oh, this is not a new TV. This is not even close to a new TV. Oh no. This is God. I don't even know how. Well, it's it's new. It's being sold new, but it's old tech. Actually, I just realized this isn't even a smart TV. I mean, do you even want a TV if it's not smart? I love being fed ads and other things on my TV.
Dude, that's the best, right? Like you just want to disconnect from Earth for a while, and you get an ad on your smart TV. Like who doesn't want that?
Yeah, dude, it's like the best thing in my life. It's the same way that. Oh, by the way, actually, fun. Like, I was about to complain. Xbox, the Xbox like One interface used to be absolute dog shit. Like, it was like literally, if you could imagine like the Windows 8 home screen where it was like all tiles and everything. Now imagine that all of those tiles are ads for games, products, food, and whatever. And then you have like two tiles somewhere in the middle that are like your game library and your friends list. Like that's how it was laid out. They have since changed it, so now it is way more game centric again. I was like, how the hell did you not do this in the first place? But so it's better now, but it used to be really bad. And it just dude, it is. I genuinely do not envy kids today because it's like kids. It's like they just get like ad bukkake constantly with everything they do. Everything has
Yep.
it, and it's like I get the reason why, but like holy hell. And yeah, like I said, the TV thing is when I upgraded my smart TV. Well, we didn't upgrade. The old one died, so I had to buy a new TV. And our new TV now, it doesn't get ads on the home menu, well, or it doesn't get ads like on the screen when you're watching stuff. So as long as you're actively using it, you're fine. But there were some things I had to disable, like, and that's the other thing is luckily I was able to disable stuff. But dude, some of the TVs now, like, it's insane. You will get pop-up ads while you're watching something.
Yeah.
That is just absurd and unacceptable to me. But hey. Ad revenue, yay! We're all products. You're the
Hooray!
product. You're the product. I'm the product. We the product. So, speaking of products, though, Ford did a fun little promotional thing. So by now, all of you guys have likely heard of this thing because it's absolutely just silliness. But Ford created a 7-motor Ford Mach-E, which I still don't understand. Like, nobody has explained how these motors go together. Everyone's like, it's got 7 motors, and you can do this, and you can do that, and da-da-da. Nobody has actually, like panned out how that actually equates to stuff. Like, so they say it's like 3 motors in the front and 4 motors in the back. I have no idea what that means. I don't know if that's 2 motors on each side connected to a gearbox or something, or if there's like 2 motors in series that are then turning the wheels. And then at that point it's like, is it really 7 motors if they're in groups of 2? Is it not just like a big motor with two like brush assembly? Or I guess most of these motors are not brushed. You would not want a brushed electric car. That's how you get like infinite heat and infinite fires. But motor assemblies. But anywho, I'm assuming that it's in series is what they mean. But because of the way that it's set up with motors in the front and the back, they can make it rear-wheel drive. They can make it all-wheel drive. They didn't say if they could make it front-wheel drive, but we can assume that that's possible. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure most people are going to ask, why would I want that? And it has 1,400 horsepower. And they've let, like, Von Gittin Jr. and Ken Block hoon this thing around. And just from a starter, I want to say this thing is an absolute hoot to look at. Like, Ford, please make this a body. Like, I don't even care if it's like a regular Mach-E. Sell us this. This would be dope. But obviously nobody can sell like a crazy winged thing like this to the public. It'll forever be a promotional thing, but this is bonkers. Like, it genuinely looks cool. And I like the fact that, like, Ford has honestly done a really good job with marketing the Mach-E, in my opinion. Like, to the point where I was mad when they announced it. Like, I was like, this is not I was one of the people. I was like, this is not a Mustang. But it has grown on me a lot conceptually. Like, how about you, Hunter? Do you want a Mach-E?
Yeah. Nah, not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
You don't want a Ford
If
Mustang Mache?
if no, it's no. I mean, it's cool. Like, concept's cool. It's just like it just kind of looks like an electric shaver.
It is a little electric shavery, I will say that. But I really hope that I get a chance to get my
It's
hands on
like
one.
this Mach E they made. It's like, all right, well, it's cool and all, but it's just like cool. You made this like pseudo crossover thing, a fucking drifty boy, and I just don't get it. Like I don't get it. It's just another thing, part of this world where I just look at something and like I know I'm getting old because I look at him like I just don't get it, and I don't understand the point of this.
To do mad hoony stuff and to go fast.
Yeah, but just like build a normal fucking car. Why do we like have to do this dumb tall car shit? Like it just doesn't look good to me.
I think it's honestly just because of the fact that Ford really wanted to. They wanted to test the waters first, like it, because that's the thing is like so many of these companies are really like, you know, Tesla has made electric cars mainstream, but for major manufacturers, it's still a big old unknown because you know Ford isn't willing to take a giant gamble like they're not a Silicon Valley startup. They're a major company. They have
Yeah, I know that. That's
and
fine. I
and
understand that.
but I think that that's the reason why they opted with a crossover first is that like with the popularity of the Mach E and just the fact that the majority of well I can't say for Ford specifically but I'm going to assume that a huge portion of their sales have been their crossovers and SUVs that they're like okay we need to make something that sells to our actual
Yeah,
target
I
market
know.
and then once we can get the technology hashed out and we've had a chance to you know see how rustled people's jimmies will be when we play with like important names then we'll know what we're safe to play with and I think that the slow transition of people getting okay with well and that's the thing people still are calling it the Mach-E nobody calls it the Mustang Mach-E and I'm sure they know that at this point which I think may translate down the road because you know I think that when they do get around to putting this in a car I think they're going to be more tentative about messing with the established names that exist so if they do make a Mustang-y kind of car they probably won't be inclined to call it the Mustang whatever namely because we already have the Mustang Mach-E but you know we'll see because who knows because that's the worst thing is you know I'm speaking from an enthusiast perspective and from the perspective of everyone I'm talking to but they actually do focus groups and they actually talk to human beings that they perceive as their buying audience and they're going to see what those people have to say and those people may say oh go for it whatever because at the end of the day again enthusiasts are not a real target market for
No,
major
I know. I
manufacturers.
know. It's just oh, why why do North Americans love crossovers so much?
Because we have massive children.
I guess, dude. I don't know.
Actually, I mean, statistically, also, we are kind
Next.
of big.
Next.
So, speaking of big things, basically, so upcoming to the Honda Civic Si, the Honda and the Civic Coupe, and the Honda Fit are all going. Wait, is that actually? I don't think that. I think this one's being misstated. Yeah, no. The title on this one is terrible. So the Honda Accord manual is going away, which to be honest, let's face it, I don't think
Doesn't
like
surprise me.
yeah, it's so many people just want a manual and everything, but let's face it, most of the people who want a manual are getting the Civic Si or the Civic Type R. They're not buying an Accord because the Civic hatchback is already practical. Like you don't really need a bigger sedan thing. Um, and there's just such a need. I apologize ahead of time if you were that person who absolutely needed an Accord and a manual at the same time. But you are not a majority, and obviously Honda agrees because it's getting the axe. But then the Civic Coupe and the Fit are actually dead. They're actually not gonna bring the Fit back, which you know we've been seeing compact cars getting shot in the head left and right. We saw the Fiesta go away. We've seen the God, I'm trying to think of all the little micro cars. Like honestly, some of them have been gone for so long I don't even remember some of them now. But anyway, so it would make sense that the Fit is going away. So unfortunately, for those of you guys who really liked the practicality of it and the fact that it actually had a little bit of spirit still in it, that car is gone. But the sad thing is just about the Civic Coupe going away. I don't know. That's one thing I should have read this article better. I don't know if the SI coupe is going away, or and just the base, or if just the base coupe is going away. If the let's see, let's see if I can find out the details in here. Because if the Civic Si, because obviously the Civic Si is going out of production because the next generation Civic is going to be worked on, so they're stopping making the old one. And likewise for some of these cars, like the manual Accord is going away because nobody buys them. But then and actually, let me double check and see what this article said, because I could be misleading you. Maybe the Fit is only going away because they're going to be making a new Fit. But let's take a look, see. So yeah, so your changes including the death of the Fit and the Civic Coupe and the manual transmission option for the Accord. I should have read all this beforehand, but I didn't get a chance. And yeah, no, actually, yeah, no, they're straight up axed. So I don't know what that means for. There will be a next gen Civic Si, but they might all be 4 doors, which is actually kind of bummy to me. Like, again, I realize that honestly, you're buying a Civic for practical reasons, and so
Yeah.
a 2-door Civic is not practical. It's sporty, so it makes sense. But I've straight up said, if I bought a Civic Si, it would be a 2-door. I love the way it looks. It's sportier looking. But that being said, all of my friends would probably punch me in the stomach for it. Because, pre-COVID and hopefully someday post-COVID, I'm still the main driving person in my family and friend group. So because of that, nobody wants to do the slide the seat forward BS. They want to have a door. So it makes sense, but it is kind of bummy. But hey, there's tons of cars in the used market. Yay. So,
It doesn't surprise me that it's happening because it's just the way it is. I am actually legitimately bummed about the Fit though, because I think the Fit is a cool car. And yeah,
how many cools do you think it has?
huh?
How many cools do you think it has?
Ooh, at least 50 cools.
50 whole cools? That's a lot of cools, and I bet they all
It's
fit in that practically sized hatch.
Yeah, well, because it's a Honda Fit, so
Yeah, you fit things in it.
that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might have to. I've thought about buying a Fit. Just like it's just a neat little car, and uh, we had them. I worked actually, as a matter of fact, I worked at a Honda dealership the year they came out.
Huh.
Yeah, I worked at the fall of '06. I was a lube tech at a Honda dealership,
Hey.
and we started
You're a
getting
lube tech.
'07 Honda Fits.
Honestly, I'm kind of curious. I realize, I'm getting steadily out of touch with what the lineups are at different manufacturers because, as I've gotten more and more broke and more race car focused, I've stopped dreaming as much. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
that being said, yeah, so let's see. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so the Fit, obviously, the Fit's still listed because it's not gone yet. But I guess, yeah, honestly, the Honda lineup is a little bloated. There's a lot in here.
There's
Holy
a lot
crap.
going on.
Yeah, in order, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Civic Sedan, we've got the Insight, we've got the Accord, we've got the SI, we've got the Accord Hybrid, we've got the Clarity plug-in hybrid, we got the Fit, we got the Civic Hatchback. I'm gonna stop saying Civics because they're all Civics. You got the HRV, CRV, you've got the Passport,
Ooh.
you've got the Pilot, you got the Odyssey, you got the Ridgeline. And that's it. So it's not too terrible, but between all of that, there's so many. There's hybrid versions of everything I said. There's various different trim/style versions of everything that I just said. So yeah, it's just a lot. So it makes sense, but definitely still bummy. But you don't want to know what's not bummy, Hunter. You want to talk about this one? It's your favorite truck. It is your favorite truck that's coming out.
No,
in
it's not.
2020.
I'll let you talk about it.
You talked about it. You behind closed doors. You were like, dude, I'm gonna fucking buy one. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sell
I'm
my
not
house. I'm gonna
buying.
sell my wife. I'm gonna buy one of these. This is like my lifeblood. He said all of it. You heard it right here, folks. I'll get it. I'll get it notarized that he said that.
Okay, you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
I don't want to talk about it.
So, GMC is officially teasing so we've been talking about this Hummer a ton, but they're teasing about the fact that they are going through with it and that they're going to start production of it in fall of 2021. So, they released a promotional video where it's like, it's this really cheesy thing where they've got some. Alright, I'm going to make a lot of people potentially very angry here, but I don't know who the heck this man is. I assume he's a sports ball player of some sort. Or maybe he's not. Maybe he's something else. I didn't look up his name because I was blazing through all of these articles before we talked about them. But anyway, the fine fellow is just saying a bunch of inspirational stuff, blah, 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 and then all these words flash across the end, like first super truck, crawl mode, or crab mode, it's like excite mode, enthuse mode, adrenaline mode, there you go. Bunch of different buzzwords, but basically they're trying to, yeah, they're basically trying to make it, they're trying to build up some hype for it that will make it, a proper Cybertruck competitor, and they're saying like 1,000 horsepower or something like that. Yeah, 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Bunch of other crazy stuff, and the upside.
Hold on.
What?
11,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Correct. Yes.
Why?
Because electric, and because Hummer.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
0 to 3 seconds in a Hummer. What's the fucking? Again, I don't understand the point of this shit.
Because they can. Because capability.
Just buy a fucking sports car.
No,
like
capability.
I mean,
my if I buy a sports car, my dick will be too big to fit in the sports car. Whereas if I buy the big truck,
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well, honestly, it's at the end of the day, I think it really is just GM trying to get on. Like, a lot of it is just trying to get hype. It's trying to get hype for EVs and to convince people to say the words electric vehicles are better than gas vehicles, and to get more people saying that. And so for that reason, all the vehicles coming out have to be absurd. And that's just where it comes down to. And plus also then you have the trade-off that, a lot of these units are being, like, they're capable of 1,000 horsepower, but they know that people aren't going to use 1,000 horsepower all the time. And so in a lot of ways, some of it is just that they're over, like, and this is me speculating. I'm not an engineer at GM or anything, so I can only say, but I would assume that they're basically overbuilding them. So it's like, yeah, it's 1,000 horsepower electric motor, which means that when you're doing 300 horsepower of work every day with it, because, you're worried about your range, which hopefully range anxiety is getting way better. Like, vehicles are going way further. But, as long as you're being a practical human being, you're using it like 30% capacity, which means that those motors are going to live a longer and happier life. And plus, but again, it comes back to capability, because I guess, again, when people are buying trucks, like, people buy trucks as tools and as status symbols and, and as grocery getters too. But at the end of the day, they want this truck to be sellable to everybody. They don't want to just sell to the nerds and to the God, I can't think of a derogatory term to say for it. But to all the weekend hobby warriors who go to Home Depot once every 2 years to pick up lumber. Basically, they don't just want that to be the buying market. They also want real men and people who do work for a living to consider these as their future truck. So because of that, you need to say, this is better than your dually diesel. Because especially people are always going to go, my whatever, insert old technology here is better than the new technology here.
My F-350 could pull down a house and blah, blah.
Yeah, well, so can this. This also makes 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. So,
no, it doesn't. It makes 11,000.
Or 11,000, well, it's... The wheel torque is a weird thing, because we all, like, it's just like how Tesla was saying, like, people were saying that the Model S had more torque than the Dodge Demon, but then when you take gearing into account, like the gearing of the differential and everything, then it was like the Demon made like 5,000 more or like 10,000 more foot-pounds of torque if you calculated it the same way. So
Okay.
they're doing the same marketing via, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not a lie, it's true. It's the same way like how AT&T branded, they just updated the fucking icon on your phone to say 5GE, and that is not 5G. It's 4G with like a new label slapped on it, but it's their excuse to so that people can go, I have 5G now. AT&T's the first to have 5G, which is a bullshit lie. You have 5GE. If your little thing has an icon that says E after it, you don't have 5G, by the way. It's a farce. One of my little pet peeves. Long story short,
That's
though.
how you get coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly. Because AT&T doesn't want to roll out real 5G because they're moral. They're the most moral phone company in the world, and they're like, we don't want to give people corona. We're not going to be a part of that 5G business. This is all really true. By the way, if you're just tuning in now for some godforsaken reason, like you start in the middle of podcast, please do not believe that. Please do not believe that. Don't use me as a reference for that. That is a big old lie. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Corona's real. Stay safe. Stay at home. Wear a mask. Anywho, back to the actual truck things, though. That is honestly, this is a marketing. I mean, that's the reason why they put the name. They pulled the same thing that Ford did. They put a well-known name on a impressively performing EV in order to draw attention to it, and that is all this is, because they want us to know that electric vehicles can do what gas vehicles can do, if not better. That is the only reason, and I guarantee you that we are going to start seeing, like, once like 30% of cars on the road are EVs, we're going to see those impressive numbers go away, and cars are going to, like, it's basically going to be kind of like the gas crisis again, but instead of it being because there's not enough gas, it's going to be because we no longer need it and people need cheaper transportation, so we're putting cheaper motors in. That's what it's going to be. My theory. Again, this is not confounded. This is not, you know, me being in the industry at all. If anything, I'm as far from. Actually, that's not true. I'm a techie person, so I'm into a lot of the techie stuff. So, but that being said, I'm for electric vehicles. So, like, I was for electric vehicles when they only made 300 foot-pounds of torque, because that's still practical. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, but it just. Anyway, the next topic
So
is.
also your favorite thing, because you said if you can't get a Hummer, then you're just gonna have to cave and get yourself a Tesla, because you know you love autopilot, and autopilot is your love in your life, and you wish you could never drive a car again. Like, that's your goal in life, isn't it? You want to just never drive again.
I mean, to work, no. I'm tired of driving to work.
So you want to roll with this one? Huh? It's more
I
than two
mean,
Chinese. It's
they
exciting.
don't have. Well, all it is that Germany says you can't advertise autonomous driving.
Well, and specifically, like, the fact that Tesla has this weird, you know, yo dog, I heard, I'm gonna let you finish, but like, Tesla has this, like, obsession with marketing the potential for full autonomous driving. Like, they regularly use that phrase that it's like, it comes equipped and ready for it, but it doesn't have it yet. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And so basically Germany's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that, because that'll make the stupids think that it can self-drive because they didn't read the fine print. So stop it. So that's basically all that was. Now you can talk about something that's actually kind of neat. You're not as big of a fan of it as I am, but I am a huge fan. But nonetheless, it's your turn.
No, I like the Veloster. I think it's pretty cool.
I didn't say you didn't like it. I said you don't like it as much as me.
Well, I like the new one. I thought the new one the old one looked pretty stupid, to be honest. But the new one's grown on me. I think it looks better.
I like the Big Wang. The Big Wang still makes me happy.
Me too. But basically, from 2021 on, the performance pack is now standard on the Veloster. As it always should have been. Yeah, like, I know what the point of that was, but whatever. It's like the Mustang's performance pack. It's like, just make that standard.
But it's even more, honestly. Like, you know, with the Mustang, you get, like, better brakes, and you get, like, a
So
bunch
is
of
this.
improvements. But what I'm saying with this one is that on top of that, you also get more power and you get the limited slip, because otherwise you have an open diff in the old base model. So yeah, it's just like there's tons of things where like I don't have sympathy for you if you regret buying a base model first gen. It's not really first gen, but you know the first model year Veloster N. If you bought it without the performance pack, I don't have sympathy for you because that was a bad decision. It was $2,100. Is the difference of like $50 a month on your payment to have a way better car. Now that being said, you do have. I will say that the way that they did the packages is like when you get the performance pack, you automatically go up to the summer tires and the bigger wheels instead of the smaller wheels on all seasons. So if you did it for that reason, then I at least have some sympathy for you, because you know you don't like this is it's supposed to be a semi-practical car, so you shouldn't be rolling around on summers most of the time anyway. Like, I've even joked about if I bought one, I would immediately buy, like, a set of, like, 1552s or something flashy and fun, and put all seasons on it for going around daily, and then put the regular wheels and tires on for track days, because since Hyundai warranties the Veloster N on track days, as long as it's completely stock. So that means, like, they could potentially void your warranty if you weren't running like the right wheel, if you weren't running the stock wheels and tires. So that being said, it's like boom, you save the sticky wheels they give you for track days, so you can go, my thing blew up, it's completely stock, deal with it.
Boo.
But yeah, so anyway, it's just kind of cool. And then plus also, I guess we didn't talk about it in previous podcasts, so I can bring it up right now. And that is the fact that the Veloster N also its dual clutch transmission's been announced and it's going to be released. It's a wet dual clutch transmission, which I don't actually know what that means mechanically. I assume it's cooled somehow or got fluid somehow. I haven't read.
No,
All
it's
the
just wet clutches.
Yeah, you slap some wetness on the clutches and boom.
Well, it's like a motorcycle.
I don't know how motorcycle wet clutches work.
Well, I think you should look it up,
I
sir.
should. It is something I would love to know about. But so the dual clutch comes with some awesome added options. Like you get a dedicated launch control for it, and like there's a different launch control for the dual clutch transmission. And then you also get their little overboost functionality where you get like an extra 25 foot-pounds of torque or something like that for like 20 seconds. So I'm sorry, you get an extra 18 foot-pounds of torque for a maximum of 20 seconds. Let's see how this thing goes. Well, I'll have to look it up later. I'm not going to waste the time on it. But all in all, the dual clutch actually does sound really, really... I look forward to seeing what the reviews have to say about it, because obviously, at the end of the day, we're going to have to see if it's completely incompetent on the street, or if it... Which, honestly, Hyundai's been pretty good about building street cars, and with the... What's-his-name from the M division in charge of the N division at Hyundai now, and I'm talking the M division of BMW, I doubt that he's going to let them push out a DCT that sucks on the street and sucks on track, or vice versa, or any combination of that. So I'm honestly kind of torn on what I would pick, because like if I got a Veloster N, I do have my already track car, but it would be really, really tempting to do like motorsportsy things with the N, and I still really would love to just drive a dual clutchy thing hard, because it's a totally different, like, you know, so many people are like, manual is for life, but it's like, when you're actually doing performance driving, it is just a world of difference in terms of smoothness and precision that you get from a dual clutch transmission. Just when you just blip through, you can shift way more aggressively in your braking zone, because it's just boom, boom, there's no heel toe action, because I don't care who you are, a click of the paddle is faster than a heel toe. It doesn't matter how good of a driver you are. It is faster. It's the reason why race cars are all flappy paddles and stuff. So it's kind of one of those things where this is a really cheap, and I've got high hopes for it, so I'm going to say presumably good dual clutch. I mean, because it's a $28 to $32,000 car with a dual clutch in it. which you've got that from you do get that from the Golf GTI. The Golf GTI can have it. Does the Golf R have a DCT? I don't think it does. Do you know?
I'm pretty sure that's an option if I
Okay.
remember right.
Yeah, so you can get it from a lot of Volkswagen automotive, VAG, however you want to pronounce it, products. Um, but at the end of the day, this is just another cool alternative option, and it's way sportier. Like, I love the Golf to death, and I think it is extremely well composed to an extent. It is still a little pushy in the front, and it's because it's tuned for the street. It's tuned for normal people to drive it, and for not hardcore people to drive it. But at the end of the day, it definitely isn't lively like other things I've driven. Still need to get my hands on a Veloster of any kind, even non-N variants. Because I've only ever driven the slow. I've driven no, actually, I drove a turbo. I drove a turbo with the dual clutch that they have, but that's like the poopier dual clutch that they have, and it was okay. Um, but at the end of the day, I still haven't driven like a proper Veloster yet, and haven't gotten to drive it hard. So we'll see if I ever get that chance to really compare. But it is lively. And it's lighter, way lighter, 2,800 pounds versus the 32 that the Golf comes in at. And makes more power on top of that. God, the Veloster N is such a cool car.
I definitely agree. I think it's such a. I'd like to take a look at it myself.
But, one thing I would love to take a look at myself is
Nope, doesn't work. Terrible.
McLaren at some point, because McLaren is now officially because that when was do you know off the top of your head when they were last sponsored by Golf?
Uh,
Let's see. So
Damn,
I'm reading the article now.
I want to say the 70s.
Yeah, you'd be right. 1968 to 1973. There's a handful of F1 GTR race cars, and then there was a handful in the mid '90s, like in mid '90s. Yeah, the mid '90s. There were a handful of sponsored cars, but basically as a whole, this one's just a quick little fun tidbit. But the Golf livery will officially be back on some McLarens for this year because their race team. I'm not sure which race team specifically. Let me take a look. Oh yeah, it's Formula One.
It's gonna be the Formula One team. Yeah.
Yeah, Formula One, and I'm trying to see if they mention it might just be the Formula One team. I hope it goes to some of the other cars, but at the very least, it'll be cool to see. It'll just be cool to see Golf colors out there again somewhere. Because I can't think of the last time I've seen because there's no. Have they been sponsoring other people? I could just be under a rock, to be honest. Have you?
I think so. Yeah, on and off. Like I can't remember which team, but there's an Aston Martin they've been sponsoring at Le Mans. They've done it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just can't remember specifics.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, though, it's cool to see that pairing back together because obviously, the Golf livery is just hilariously iconic, like to the point where it's been put on just about everything. I think the only thing I've never seen the Golf livery on is a Mopar. Maybe I'll do that to salt somebody's biscuits when I get my Challenger someday.
Yep.
I think that'd be pretty hilarious to do a Golf livery on one. Or not my Challenger, my Charger, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, all the Challenger and Charger boys. They fit in the same bubble in my head.
They're literally the same car.
I know they're different. They're technically different. Stop triggering people. People are going to be very triggered if you tell them that.
It's the same car.
But yeah, anywho, it would be kind of fun. But yeah, so so you want to talk about this next one? We were just talking about F1, so boom, transition.
Boom, transition. Yeah. F1 driver Adrian Sutil crashed a McLaren Senna LM. Wow. You done go.
Which, dude, I loved. Did you get a chance to read any of the comments on Reddit or even just on this article?
No.
Oh, actually, this article doesn't. This one, somebody else's article had a comment section, but it is hilarious just to see, every time, because there's always people looking to get up on their freaking high horse. So the number of people who are like, "Oh, I must be better than an F1 driver because I wouldn't crash a Senna." There's just so much BS that was going on. So many people are just giving him shit for this. And it's like so many people just really don't properly conceptualize the fact that like there at any given point there are like 20 F1 drivers, and those F1 drivers are the fastest drivers in the world. So it's like it's not like he's a bad driver. It's just that something happened, whether it was he hit a wet spot or any number of things. I don't think we have any real details, and to be honest, I don't really care about the details. I is kind of sad to see that the sun is, kind of effed up, but the good thing is at least it looks like it's just, oh, nope, it's more than the front end. It is way more than the front end. Womp womp. It is quite a bit on the other side. But hey, you know what? It's fixable, because the monocoque is okay. I think that's actually kind of one of the coolest things about a lot of modern supercars is when they have that like really strong inner tub, the core structure of the car is like pretty regularly okay. Like the windshield will get messed up and stuff, sure. I think the roof might be messed up on this one. I can't really tell from the pictures that we have. Oh no, hold on, let's see. I can tell from. Yeah, okay, so now the roof is fine. Yeah, so it's just like the windshield's messed up. So this thing is like totally rebuildable because there may be cracks in the carbon fiber that they'll have to mend, but it's like everything just bolts off of the front of it and the back of it like a freaking race car. Which, to be fair, I guess regular cars kind of do that a little bit too.
A little bit.
A little bit, but yeah, because actually, you know what? No, because yeah, regular cars they're welded together, versus these cars which actively have the carbon tub, and then they have a metal chassis bolted to the carbon tub. So totally fixable car, not a total rat, especially with the value of it. I will say this Senna is actually kind of a little boring. Like he just was like, "I'll have creamsicle," and he left it at that. There's like no special. It's like gray wheels, creamsicle
But
color.
that's like McLaren's colors.
I know it's McLaren's colors, but like
Okay.
there's no design to it. There's no anything. It's just a solid orange. It's not even two-toned anywhere. Like the mirrors are color matched.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like some of the crazy Sennas that we've seen out there where they have, because a lot of the Sennas have all the highlight coloring and stuff on like some of the edges and in different spots that always looks really savage.
I like the plain orange, to be honest. I think it looks cool, and it kind of harkens back to the McLaren F1 LMs. I think it looks cool.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually nix this next one because it's boring, and now we can hard transition more F1 stuff. So F1 is officially not going to be returning to North America for this year. Womp womp. And that includes like when I say North America, I mean North America. So like not just America, the Brazil
Canada,
stuff,
Mexico,
Canada. It's
Mexico.
none of it's happening. Wait, sorry, Brazil's South America. Yeah, so it's
Yep.
Mexico that's not happening. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm
Brazil's
sorry.
still happening either. So
Yeah. So is Brazil not happening? Okay, that's probably what I was thinking it.
no, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. I can't remember if it's already been canceled or not, but it doesn't surprise me. The only upside to everything going on is that F1's back at Imola finally.
Yeah.
Which I've been wanting Imola or F1 to go back to Imola for a long time, pretty much since they stopped going, and I'm happy they're going back. Imola is one of my favorite European tracks. So
I really need to start catching up on watching some because like watching F1 is something I really can and should do in my spare time. Well, not my spare time, in my time when I'm doing work, but I can have background stuff going because I want to start seeing because there's a lot of new well, maybe not a lot, but a handful of new tracks for this year specifically because of all the canceled races in different countries. So it's a good chance to see some stuff that we don't normally get to see. Because normally there's cooler and sexier tracks out there that they just keep running.
So, yeah, they're going back to the Nürburgring.
Yeah, that one I'm really excited. So when is the Nürburgring one supposed to happen?
October, which would be a weird time for Germany, but hey, there you go.
That's Oktoberfest, yeah.
Well, they've been to all these before except Mugello and Portimao. Everything on the.
Imagine
as
how
far
exciting it would be to be one of those tracks that gets to either host their first Formula One race or gets to host their first one in a really long time.
Yeah.
It's just like so much
It feels like a proper F1 schedule because it's like all European races.
money. Yeah.
So
Europeans don't like to race our tracks. We only
no.
have one good one. Actually, I forget. Do we have two? We have like two. What's is it like level one or something one like whatever
Grade
that.
one. Yeah, Austin and fuck.
It's the Circuit of Americas and there's another one I can't remember, which makes it all the more sad that we only have like when things are normal we're lucky to get the Circuit of Americas on the schedule usually.
It's not Daytona, no.
No, hell
Oh
no.
no, it's Indianapolis.
It is really Indy Motor
Yeah,
Speedway is.
yeah, because they used to race on the road course.
Yeah, man. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until I finally have the time and money to properly like visit some of these tracks because God, it's just there are really a lot of really cool American tracks out there. Like they're really like they're not really good for F1 purposes, a lot of them, but we have a really diverse collection. Like honestly, I would even say, and I guess maybe this is because I am American, but like half of the tracks I know off the top of my head are American tracks.
Yeah.
But I think that's still like universal even across the board. Like there's tons of little tracks in Europe and different places, and or not even little, like medium sized tracks, but it's like everybody knows the big ones, like Das Nürburgring, Imola, Spa, etc., etc. But like for all intents and purposes, there's a lot of even smaller tracks here in the United States that still have some pretty decent world renown. But yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and cap this one with this last one. Do you want to talk about it? You want to talk about this fun stuff?
Yeah.
I just found out about this.
Yeah, Sergio Perez has COVID-19. So he is not racing this weekend at Silverstone.
God, that just sucks so much for it.
That
Cause
would
like
suck.
I haven't watched a lot of F1 this season, but I've been picking up on little bits and pieces, and he's just been having just shit season, like, and not like him
I
sucking.
think
It's
last
just
season wasn't the greatest too. It was just bad luck.
yeah. Well, and it's like, but this one's been bad luck too. Like, it's just so many things have not been. Then like, cause he had to miss. I can't remember which race it was, but he had to miss a race this year because he was sick. Oh, but that was because he was actually like sick, like where he wasn't
I
racing
don't
right.
think those.
Was that not this season?
No,
I
I don't think so.
I thought I was reading through a thread where somebody mentioned it that he was sick for something this year. I don't know.
I don't think so. No, I know what you're talking about. I think that was last year.
Well, either way, it's still really, really bummed to hear that, like, despite all of the safeties in place for Formula One teams to, like, avoid. And at the end of the day, let's face it, all these race teams talk about all the things that they're doing to stay safe, and all these everythings talk about it. There maybe 30% of people are actually going to follow it to the letter. The other 60% are going to forget 3 days in, or just say screw it day one because they got hot or they got tired or they needed to do something with their mouth, etc., etc. Like I will even admit I have a lot of reasons to follow it. I've slipped up once or twice and caught myself slipping up once or twice. Like, and that's as somebody who really wants to follow all of the best practices and everything. So that being said, it was kind of like, because it's bound to happen regardless of what you're doing. If you don't believe it's bound to happen, then Godspeed to you, and it might not. Sort of, kind of the reason why we have to prepare for it otherwise. Because if even an F1 team can't keep one of their two drivers clean, it's like, what are the chances of a lot of other people? Like, dude, it triggered me today because Hoonigan released some of their footage from Southern Ohio Forest Rally this year. It
Yeah.
was a spectatorless event, and but in God, I talk straight. But like the Hoonigan team, not a mask to be found in sight. Like now, you can say that if the teams only mingled with themselves, they know
Then
who's
yeah,
being
and
safe.
so you don't really know that. Like that's the one caveat, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's like you don't like you. Nothing's gonna stop Steve from running to Walmart, picking up something, and picking up something that an 8-year-old kid who had COVID licked earlier that day. Like, it's
yeah, it's
not
like
about like you who you know. It's a matter of prevent. But like the entire Hoonigan team was maskless, and so was one of the. I don't remember. God, this all my rally guys are gonna crucify me for this. But I don't remember who took podium for that event. But the podium team who was there, they also were maskless. I don't know if their team was, but I know the driver and co-driver were. So it was like Subaru Rally Team was standing in the corner looking like a bunch of losers because they're the only ones wearing masks. And it's like, I'm not mad about the fact that they aren't like, doing their due diligence to protect themselves, but at the same time, it's the message that it sends because there are a lot of people who believe Ken Block is a god among men, and when they see him not taking it seriously, because that's the other thing too is when famous people wear them at appropriate times, it reminds people that this is a problem they need to be aware of. When famous people don't do it, even if they don't say anything about it, it still conveys a message of, everything is fine, or this person who is more important than me thinks it's fine, so maybe I should lax up. So it was a little
yeah.
frustrating. But yeah, Loose Super Rally Team, they're lasering their own people. Like literally every day they do health checkups on their crew to make sure that
As you
everyone's 100%.
should. I mean, like if especially like an event like that, I don't know. I don't understand the just complacency on it. It's like it's a real deal. It's. I mean, hate to bring up politics. Look at Herman Cain today. Like the
Yeah.
guy said it was a hoax. He went to Trump's rally. I mean, I'm not trying to be super political, but it's like I'm not trying to be political at all. But it's like the guy was like, yeah, I'll go. He didn't wear a mask. Anything. He's dead. You know. I mean, it affects everybody differently, but you can't. And people like I've enjoyed watching the train of thought go from it's the flu, now it's everybody's, or it's a hoax, now it's the flu, and now it's I can't wait to see what the next thing is because now
For some
more
people, they
people
never got past stage one. For some people, it's still a
know. It's
hoax,
just
which is the
yeah,
reason
I
why we have unlimited amounts of COVID in America.
yeah.
Like literally unlimited. I mean, we're still climbing by like individual states are climbing by thousands of cases a day. Well, and to be fair, again, this is where I'll try and take a neutral path. I do agree that the statistics are hard to track in that like right now the big numbers people talk about are new cases. They don't talk about like how many standing cases there are. They don't talk about how many recovered cases there are. But it's because there is no graph that shows all of that information at once. There is not. And at the end of the day, we still would like to see new cases be in the single digits or double digits or even triple digits at this point because it would still mean that fewer people are catching it. So the fact that we're still where we're at, it's just absolute silliness.
Yeah.
So,
So
to end things on a lighter note, though, oh wait, no, there's no more articles. So yeah, boom, that's it. That's all you get. But hey, ooh, excuse me. At least we've got all those mask mandates going around. So hey, mask mandates for
that
people to ignore.
yeah, I mean there's mandates in Ottawa. You have to wear a mask indoors, and for the most part.
Did you say indoors?
Yeah, only indoors, and it's public places.
Hmm. Oh yeah, well no. Oh wow, that's actually kind of yeah. Because here in the U.S., it's just straight up like in if you're out in public, you need to be. Well, sorry, in St. Louis County, because it's all different depending on where you're at. Where I'm at, St. Louis County, you have to wear a mask pretty much anytime you're not like in a car or in your home. But
Wow.
again,
Yeah,
that's
no,
because we're
Ottawa's
stupid.
just
So
doing indoor. Because I think the what our provincial government has realized, the information they're using is that um, that outdoor transmission is next to nothing. As long as you like socially distance.
mm-hmm.
Um, and just be smart about it. But I don't know. It makes sense to me. Like uh, why do you think Asia? Why do you think Japan? They never had an economic shutdown, but 1,000 people have died because of COVID. You know.
Yep. So anywho, I'm trying to think of a positive thing to end on. Positive thing to end on. Cool car stuff. Any cool car stuff you've been following today, Hunter?
No, just busy with work, man. Not correlated, but I'm happy baseball's back. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy. Finally got the wheels and tires for my S2000. So, in 2 weeks, I'm no longer competing in grid life. I'm just gonna be doing the PDE and just sort of like getting the lay for the land. But I'll get to go do some driving on Pikes Peak International Raceway. So that was gonna be heckin' dope. And oh god, this is so. It's not really good news, but I'll go ahead and share it with you guys. So I am a super big DIYer when it comes to just about everything. If it only costs me 3 times as much to do it myself, I'll do it myself. I kind of that bad habit of a lot of stuff. So because of that, I do all my own wrenching and everything. And there are very few. Like I even have my own alignment kit now, so I can do my own home alignments and everything. Built myself using the Donut Media. Not a sponsored plug, just 100% very useful video. Donut Media did a video about how to do your own home alignment and whatnot, and they made me realize that with literally like it's like $30 in lumber, I could build my own alignment racky thing. Now it's not like a fancy roll-on thing. It's you jack up your car and then you can drop the tires on platforms so that you can actually reach your alignment adjusters and stuff while the car is under load. Because you have to adjust your alignment under load. Otherwise, you're going to be making a small adjustment, lowering it measure. Versus you can make your adjustments live and stuff like that. So, anywho, one thing I can't do is because I do not have space or the money for a wheel and tire machine. And so because of that, I was originally going to take it to a shop I trusted. And they were hella booked. Could not get me in just because they were short staffed because they had a fire guy and a bunch of other stuff. So I was just like, hey, you know what? Screw it. It's just wheels and tires. Like I don't even take my cars to the tire shops. I literally bring loose wheels and tires. Like even on our van, I just put it on jack stands and I take the tires with me to wherever I need to go. And so took my wheels and tires to National Tire and Battery. Tire is literally in their name, so figured it wouldn't be a problem. On my S2000. So for those of you guys who aren't familiar with some sports cars have a staggered design where the front wheels are more narrow than the rear wheels. So you have wider rear wheel, even some cars will have the opposite. That's really really rare, but some cars will even have the opposite. But basically, it's just that your front tires are a different size than your rear tires, and some cars will even do different diameters, like a 19-inch in the front and a 20-inch in the rear. So I go to them with my wheels and tires. They are directional tires, which to add on to it for those of you guys who don't know, directional tires mean that they are designed to face a specific direction. So that means that when you have if you had 4 matching wheels and tires that are all the same size, you'd have 2 wheels that need to face one way, and 2 tires that need to face one way, and 2 tires that need to face the other way. Well, when you combine that with a staggered setup, it means that basically all 4 of your wheels are different. You've got one tire of one size facing one way. You've got one wheel and tire, etc. You get the gist. So, basically, if you work with tires, in theory, you should be able to figure this out pretty easy. Like, you should be able to go,
Yeah.
these wheels are different sizes. These tires are different
Huh.
sizes. So maybe the small wheels go on the small, or the small tires go on the small wheels, and the big tires go on the bigger wheels. And then you look at the tires and then go, rotational. Okay, I know that we need to have 2 tires facing in different directions. Boom, you're good. Well, apparently nobody at National Tire and Battery took that class in tire school. So they proceeded to put my rear tires on my front wheels, my front tires on my rear wheels, and they put them all facing in the same direction. So they literally did everything they could possibly get wrong. Not a single wheel was correct. or not a single wheel and tire setup was correct. And then
That sucks.
and I had to, and they messed it up twice. Thanks to that, I didn't get to autocross on my new tires whatsoever, and my tires have now been remounted 3 times. So the sidewall integrity is not what it could be. So that means I have to be more conscious of potholes and a bunch of other stuff because the sidewalls are. And the good thing is this is a burner set. I bought a set of Federal 595R RSRs, I think. It's either RRR or RSRs. It's a bunch of alphanumeric gibberish, but it's basically their 200 treadwear summer tire, and it's like half the price of the competing tires. Like I spent like $550 on this full set of tires, and they're not like Chinese. And like people actually do like these tires. They're just not like record lap setting tires.
Right.
But I have to relearn the whole car because I basically haven't driven it on a track in a year, and I haven't really driven. I've driven it at one autocross is the hardest I've gotten to push the car, with the new suspension and the new bushings and everything. So this year I just bought a burner set of tires where it was cheap, so I could nab it, relearn the suspension setup on the car, and then just focus on next year, where then I'll drop $1,200 on fucking tires. So that'll be coming up here, soon enough. But anywho, so they're only going to be on there for a year, so I'm not or less than a year actually. So I'm not super worried. But at the end of the day, that was fun. So always, ladies and gentlemen, don't trust chain shops. If you need them to do stuff, don't just tell them. Write it on the tires. Make it blatantly, because that's the worst thing. Is I told them it was a staggered rotational setup, and they still got everything wrong. So, basically, in the future, if I ever have to be in a pinch and not take it to like a performance shop I know, I'm writing, like, basically I'm assigning a tire to a wheel and then putting it
Yeah,
where.
RF, LF.
Yeah, because the worst thing is I even thought about doing that, and I was like, you know what? No, that's disrespectful. It's not disrespectful. Do it.
No,
if
it's
you're
not.
ever
Not at
worried
all.
about it. If you do not have unidirectional tires and all the same wheels, just do not trust a chain. Well, correction. I'm sure it's better if you bring in a car that is on factory spec, like has factory spec behavior. So like if you have like 370Z and you bring in your 370Z with stock wheels, or if you kept the staggered setup and you just had different wheels, like you had fancier wheels, whatever, they might get that right because then it's in the computer. Don't trust them to do stuff where they have to use their brain. That's the biggest thing.
Nope. Nope. Not at all.
So that was less of a positive note, but a bit of a fun story that you guys can give me shit about as much as you want. But in the meantime, as always, massive thank you to those of you guys who do listen to the podcast. First of all, you're awesome. Second of all, email me at juan@thecolumnshifters.com. And this week, what is this week going to be? What do we want to call this week's episode?
Joe Rogan.
Yep, we're calling this the Joe Rogan podcast. So go ahead and just email me, Joe Rogan. Email me, Joe Rogan, 3 times, actually. And, yeah, so email me, Joe Rogan, 3 times, and I will send you a $10 gift card to a food place of your choosing. And likewise, also, if you like our podcast, do not hesitate to go ahead and follow us, subscribe to us, whatever. It's different on every platform. We're on almost every platform. So wherever you're listening to us, give us a like, subscribe, whatever, just to help us grow and get out there, because especially we've still got a lot of traction to pick up from the old, because I think the old podcast is still getting lots of downloads. Like, it's still kind of funky how it's like, I guess it's just because it was tagged super well, or I guess well is subjective there. So I've started tagging these podcast episodes better, but we just need to see about getting it out there more and whatnot. So anyway, like I said, if you like our podcast, share it with your friends. We talk about random stuff all the time. And as always, be good, stay out of trouble, stay healthy, stay at home if you can, wear a mask. Anything else we want to toss in, Hunter?
No, I can't think of anything else. Don't crash your McLaren LM in Monaco.
Yeah, boom, don't do that. Anywho, peace out, everybody.